But first, it's my brain dump. I want to start with Ukraine, where Vladimir Putin continues to show the world he's the new Hitler as he commits monstrous genocidal barbarism against a European democracy. The deluded dictator claims he's waging war over what he calls the denazification of Ukraine. The truth is that what he's doing is the Nazification of Ukraine. And the only difference between what Hitler did in World War II and what Putin's doing now is that now the West is standing back and letting him get on with it. Putin thinks he's got us over a barrel because he keeps threatening to use his nuclear arsenal if anyone tries to stop him. And we keep recoiling in fear and horror when he does and assuring him that's not what we're going to do. Well, just last night, he was at it again, warning that Russia has weapons nobody else has, and he's ready to use them should we intervene. But as Donald Trump told me earlier in the week, he shouldn't be allowed to throw around the N-word as a protective shield when he bombs maternity hospitals, targets refugees as they flee to safety, and incinerates Holocaust survivors in their homes. Take a look at this clip I'm about to show you. It's a montage of some of these atrocities going on in the Ukraine. It's a hard watch, but it's a watch we must all see. And ask yourself one question as you watch it. What is our red line? That's what's going on here. It's genocide. At what point do we call Putin's bluff and directly engage with him to protect the Ukrainian people from yet more of this hideous slaughter? We're watching war crimes in real time, acts of depravity as wicked as any in modern history. And as we're watching, we're also sitting on the most advanced and powerful military force ever seen in NATO. When will enough be enough? The single argument against using Western conventional military might to blast Russia out of Ukraine is fear that it would drag us into a conflict with a nuclear enemy and potentially trigger World War III. That's what Putin wants us to fear. He's relying on us to do nothing because we haven't got the moral backbone to stand up to him. But a nuclear deterrent is supposed to be there for protection. It's not a free pass for dictators to decimate sovereign democratic countries without fear of consequence. And Putin knows if he fires one nuclear weapon in anger, he and his entire country will be eviscerated. Why would someone like him, who spent his whole life craving power and wealth and hoarding luxury possessions, risk losing everything? If we let him win in Ukraine, he'll come for more countries. Once a bully smells weakness and fear, they never stop bullying. And we all know that bullies only understand one language, a punch on the nose. The question really now is, do we have the guts to give him one? Or do we let the brave Ukrainians continue to die in huge numbers and have their country destroyed? The Palace of Westminster is a stunning Gothic monument to democracy in the middle of London, an awe-inspiring symbol of British honour and integrity. For 700 glorious years, we've elected members of Parliament to defend our rights, to uphold our values, and now apparently to watch porn. Yep, 2 female MPs have reported an unnamed male Conservative member of Parliament for watching X-rated content on his mobile phone as he sat in the House of Commons, in full view of his colleagues. It's pretty unbelievable that any elected official in the public purse could be so reckless and stupid, and of course deeply insensitive to the horrified women sitting near him. But it's also reflective of a deeper malaise inside British politics right now. 3 government ministers and 2 opposition lawmakers are all currently being investigated for alleged sexual misconduct. Government officials from the Prime Minister down are also being handed police fines for breaking their own laws to party during lockdowns. The public are entitled, in my opinion, to expect higher standards of personal probity from those they elect to run the country. When MPs think it's OK to scroll through porn on their phones, as they're supposed to be engaging in vital parliamentary debate during a pandemic and a European war, it's pretty clear that a dismal culture of laddish misbehaviour exists now at the heart of British democracy. And that can't be tolerated. This MP, if found guilty, should be removed from Parliament. Talking of removal from classless to cashless, the name Alex Jones may not be familiar to you until I replay an old clip from the time he screamed at me about guns on American television. How many gun murders were there?
Oh, you're going to ban your fist now?
In Britain last year?
How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin? The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
Oh, I hear you cry. That crazy guy. Well, Jones isn't just crazy. He's a nasty piece of work who built a gigantic online following with his InfoWars website and made many millions of dollars peddling mad conspiracy theories about the US government. His most vile claim was that the 2012 Sandy Hook mass shooting was faked. Now, very few tragedies have ever moved me more profoundly than that appalling massacre in which 20 children, aged between 6 and 7, were shot dead in their classrooms by a lone lunatic. But Alex Jones responded to what happened by saying it was all a government-staged hoax, perpetrated by crisis actors to justify new gun control laws being introduced. It was a disgusting lie that caused immeasurable new grief and misery to the poor families of the children who died. But 10 of those families decided to sue him for defamation, and they won big. Now Jones, a great government conspiracy theorist, has filed for bankruptcy as he awaits details of the huge damages he'll now have to pay. And he's been reduced to desperately and pathetically begging the same government he has always said is the enemy of the people for bankruptcy relief. Oh, the irony. Jones deserves everything coming his way. What he did to those Sandy Hook families was beyond despicable. He's been morally bankrupt for decades. Now he'll be financially bankrupt too. And hopefully that means he'll never again be able to lead such a vile smear campaign like the one he did to desecrate the memory of those 20 young children. Now, talking of children, I'm old enough to remember when Disney's sole focus was to entertain kids. But now it also wants to govern how they're educated. For reasons that completely baffle me, the family-friendly movie company recently abandoned its historic stance of not engaging in any partisan politics to wage a public battle with Florida's governor and potential presidential candidate, Ron DeSantis. It's all about a law banning schools from teaching children as young as 5 about sexual and gender preferences. Disney bosses originally said they wouldn't get involved. Then they were bullied into speaking out against the supposed Don't Say Gay bill after many of its own angry woke staff staged walkouts and protests. But putting aside your own opinions about the bill itself, and it doesn't actually say, by the way, Don't Say Gay anywhere, what does any of this have to do with Disney? Most Florida parents, I would guess, probably agree with DeSantis that they should ultimately decide what their young children get told about sex and gender. And if Disney's really that concerned about morality, well, when will we hear it stop streaming to countries where it's illegal to be gay? Or making movies in China where the Uyghur Muslims are suppressed? Have we heard Disney speak out against the Uyghur Muslim suppression? Have we? Hell. Sadly, this is yet another example of corporate cowardice and hypocrisy in the face of the woke mob. And I predict that Disney will soon regret ever getting involved in politics. Or perhaps they'll just go the full hog and woke-wash their movies to avoid upsetting any of their sensitive snowflake woke force. I can see the hurriedly revised billboards now. Peter pansexual, snow mixed heritage and the 7 vertically challenged individuals, lady and the economically disadvantaged person, and of course my personal favourite, Pocahontas, starring Meghan Markle. Now you might be thinking, oh, come off it, Piers. But trust me, there will be people at Disney right now already thinking about it.